Hello everybody, you're very welcome back to Only Leeds Bros for player ratings. Leeds United got their first win of the season against Everton thanks to a penalty from Mete. Through the course of this video, we're going to give the starting lineup, substitutions and Daniel Farke a score out of 10. What we do is we submit a document online across all our social media and ask you guys for your player rating. So how this will run through, myself and Dylan will give our score out of 10 and then we'll reveal the OLB audience score out of 10 as well. Dylan doesn't know them, but I do. But we'll run through the starting 11 first, substitutions, and then we'll give our manager Daniel Farke, will give him a score out of 10 as well. But Dylan, let's jump straight into it. Lucas Perry, our new goalkeeper. How do you think he got on?
Yeah, look, I thought his kicking was a bit off at times. It's a bit ropey, but look, hopefully he can sort that out. He commanded his box really well, punching it, catching it, etc. Something that we've been all looking at. And then the one save that he did have to make, he got down nice and early, quick enough, and that was a great save. So our score, we're going to go with is a 6.
Yeah, so we went with a 6 for Lucas Perry. Nice solid start to his Leeds career. So the OLB audience went a little bit higher than us, Dylan. They went with a score of 6.5 for Lucas Perry. Let's move on, Dylan, and let's talk about our right back, Jaden Bogle, who thankfully was fit for this game. Thought he was a little bit rusty. He kind of worked his way into the game as the game went on, gave the ball away a couple of times. You could see he's coming back from injury, so we are going to cut him a little bit of slack. So myself and Dylan went for a score of 6.5 for Jaden Bogle. Hopefully he can improve on his fitness and really get match sharp now for Arsenal away on Saturday. So the OLB audience went a little bit less than us this time. They went with a score of 6 for Jaden Bogle. Let's move over then to the left-hand side to Gabby Goodmunson. Was actually very, very impressed, Dylan, with Gabby Goodmunson. What did we give him?
Yeah, look, we've seen it with left-backs. It's kind of a position in the Leeds team that kind of rocks the boat at times. I thought he played phenomenal, lads. I really did. I think he's definitely a star-quality player. His overlap runs, his tackling, and it's just his movement off the ball. I thought he was brilliant for me and you. I'm going to give him a 7.
7 out of 10. And yeah, bang on the money, Dylan. The OLB audience went with a score of 7 as well for Gabby Goodmunson. Really, really good start to his Leeds United career. Looking forward to seeing how he can get on now for the rest of this season. Let's move in then to the centre-half positions, Dylan. We'll talk about Joe Rodon first. For me, I thought he was good again tonight. Rodon and Strike, that partnership we seen it last season at times, absolutely rock solid. We went with a score of 7 for Joe Rodon. Dylan, really, really good. Looking forward to seeing how he can get on in this Premier League season. The OLB audience went with a score of 6.5 for Joe Rodon. Let's move on then and talk about his partner then, Pascal Strike, Dylan.
Yeah, look, I thought at times his passing was a bit... up and down, we kind of get that from Strick, you kind of expect it. But look, as you said there, with him and Joe Rodon at the back, it's just a wall. It's a brick wall. A bit less, but we're going to go with a 6.5 for Pascal Stroke.
6.5, yeah. So the OLB audience went with a 7 for Pascal Stroke as well. So they're a little bit more than us anyway, Dylan. So, right, let's move on then to the midfield three then. First of all, we'll start with Anton Stack, Dylan, who for me, I thought was absolutely sensational. Really, really good. Both of us were impressed with him. Daniel Farke seems to like him as well. We've seen him in pre-season. I thought he was phenomenal, Dylan. We went with a score for 8 for Anton Stack, and the OLB audience went with a score of 8.5. So he is Leeds United's OLB man of the match. So absolutely fantastic for Anton Stack. Thankfully, he's not injured. There was a couple of hairy moments with him, Dylan, when he went down, and I was thinking, oh, Jesus. But he came through unscathed, thankfully. So, yeah, he is the OLB man of the match. Let's move on, Dylan. Let's talk about El Tanaka. Again, thought he was sensational. What do you think?
Yeah, Tanaka just gives you that kind of confidence as a player. He blew him 2 shots over the bar. But his general overall play, his little tippy-tap passes, his movement off the ball, his tackling, thought he was absolutely brilliant again. For me and you, I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, bang on the money. The OLB audience went with a score of 7 for El Tanaka as well. Really good, that midfield dynamic. And then the last one then of the 3, Dylan, is our captain, Ethan Ampadu, again with a little bit of a hairy moment with him. The bad twist of the ankle. I think we were all worrying because we remember last season when he was out long term. But I was actually very impressed with him, Dylan. We've spoke about Ethan Ampadu all through the summer. Can he take up that step to the Premier League? There was a real question mark about him. Thought he looked really well in there with Stack and Tanaka. So I'm going to give him his plaudits today, being a captain and that injury as well to continue on. We went with a score of 7 for Ethan Ampadu, and the OLB audience went with a 6.5. So a little bit less than us. Not too sure about that one from the OLB audience, but they went with a 6.5 for Ethan Ampadu. Let's move on then, Dylan. Dan James.
Yeah, look, I'm a bit disappointed with Dan James. Look, it's rusty. That's what it is. It's rustiness. The first game of the season. He just went disappearing at times. I think within the first 10 minutes, he was kind of out of him and Bogle, that partnership. Still has the pace, but it just felt like he went missing at times. Couldn't really get control of the game. He went missing at times. So I'm going to go with a score of 5.
5, yeah. So myself and Dylan went with a 5 for Dan James. Bitterly disappointed night for Dan James, and hopefully he can improve on that. And the OLB audience went a little bit worse than us. They went with a 4.5, Dylan, for Dan James. So certainly not his best performance in the Leeds United shirt, and let's hope he can pick it up, because, as I said, and we know we can do better as well, Dylan, can't we? We know that he has better quality than what he showed tonight. Let's move on. Let's move over to the other side then. Willie Gnonto, Dylan, who I do have to say in the first half I was actually very, very impressed with. I thought he gave Jacob Bryan problems down that left hand side. Him and Goodmunson were really causing a lot of problems. There was times Jacob Bryan looked like he didn't want to be there. Bit disappointed to see him coming off, because I thought he was the one that's going to add spark to our attack. But look at Farke's substitutions, obviously came off and we get the win anyway. But yeah, thought the tenacity was there, the enthusiasm was there. Just the final product, I think, for me, lacked a little bit in Willie Gnonto. He'd one shot that went over the bar as well. But yeah, good start to the Premier League season for him. Hopefully we get a little bit more of that and a little bit more consistency this season for me, for Willie Gnonto. So we went with a score of 7 for Willie Gnonto. The OLB went a little bit higher. They went with a 7.5 for Willie Gnonto, which is a really, really good score of starting the season. And then, Dylan, your man, you take the floor, Joel Peru.
Exactly, I'll take the floor. Darren, I'm quite surprised, to be fair. I think the expectations for Piero was kind of up and down from pre-season. His fitness, with losing weight, I thought he was phenomenal again tonight. I think his touch was there. His passing, his overall play, same thing. Didn't really get any clear-cut chances. Making a lot of forward runs into the near post, front post runs. Something that he's adding to his game, which is great to see. And then just his overall play for me. So we went with a 7 for Joel Piero.
Joel Piero, yeah. The OLB audience went with a 7.5, Dylan, for Joel Piero. So yeah, we're very similar tonight, and I think, yeah, we're all kind of on the same sort of thinking. So a 7.5 from the OLB audience for Joel Piero. Dylan, let's talk about then our first substitution. Move on to the substitutions. The first one was Brendan Aronson, who did come on for Willie Gnonto, had her head scratched. How did he get on?
Look, I'll be honest with you, I still find it hard to where Aronson fits into this team at times. I think it's his position. He's winger, he's a 10, he's striker. It's just a bit mad for me. I think he made 1 or 2 tackles. He kind of broke the game up a little bit. For me, though, I don't know. I just feel like at times he just goes missing as well, similar to what Dan James was kind of given. But his pace, and he kept that, running around like a headless chicken after the ball. We went with a 6.
Yeah, 6 for Brendan Aronson. Well, the OLB audience, Dylan, went lower than us. They went with a 5.5 for Brendan Aronson. And yeah, I think we probably could have went 5 and 6, Dylan. We know what Aronson gives you. It gives you tenacity, gets about the ball, but he just lacks the quality at times, doesn't he? So yeah, as you said, it'd be interesting to see where Brendan Aronson fits into this team as the season progresses. Let's move on, Dylan. Let's talk about the goal scorer then. Cracking penalty into the corner. Lucas Mete. I think he's going to be a real good signing, Dylan, for Leeds United. I've been really impressed with him in pre-season. Thought he was very good. Not apart from the penalty when he came on, really puts himself about. Looks like a bit of a bully. Gets himself in the box as well. And as I said, took his penalty absolutely fantastically well. Just with the penalty as well, he probably gains an extra mark as well. We went with a 7.5 for Lucas Mete, and the OLB audience went with an 8. An 8 for him, so he was close. He was close with Anton Stack. Anton Stack gets man of the match, but the OLB audience went with an 8 for Lucas Mete. Let's move on then, Dylan, and let's talk about that man, Jack Harrison. All the controversy about him coming up against his old club. Talks about both sections of the fan bases don't want him. But yeah, look, he came on, Dylan, and you kind of get what you get from Jack Harrison. Put a couple of balls into the box. Because one, when the Mete made a run in and it was cleared out, look, he still has a lot to do. We know he's had to put in a few quid behind the pub bars as well for Leeds fans, which obviously he's on his way to redeeming himself at Leeds. We're just going to have to get behind him. But we went with a score of 5 for Jack Harrison. May seem a little bit harsh because the OLB audience went with a 6. So they're going a little bit softer than what we are. We're still expecting a little bit more from Jack Harrison. So a 6 from the OLB audience for Jack Harrison. Let's move on then, Dylan, and talk about Ilya Gruev. He obviously came on late on in the game. Looked like he was going to come on a little bit earlier for Ethan Ampadu. How do you think Gruev got on?
Apart from him taking the bib off and taking it back on, I actually thought he done very well when he did come on. He just gives us that kind of secure when Ampadu does need to go off, or just, he holds the play up real well. He's great at tackling, great at moving himself about, holds himself very well, moves the ball. We went with a score of 6.5.
Yeah, not bad. So the OLB audience went with a score of 5.5 for Ilya Gruev. So yeah, that's probably the most one all night that it's been a little bit off with that. So 5.5 from the OLB audience for Ilya Gruev. Let's move on then, Dylan, and that our new man, our Geordie man, Sean Longstaff. How do you think he got on?
Yeah, look, I think he came on late in the game. He's definitely fresh legs to come on. Loves a tackle. We've seen that in certain videos, especially when he played with Newcastle. I like his rotation for the midfield. I think it's a bit harsh to kind of give him a high rated or a low rated score because he did come late on in the game. So just to kick him off, we went with a 5.5.
5.5, yeah. Well, the OLB audience went with a 5 for Sean Longstaff. I just said came on a little bit late, didn't really kind of have the chance to kind of impose himself on the game, and I'm sure we'll get to see Sean Longstaff a little bit more as well. We have Sheffield Wednesday coming up in the Cup as well. Who knows, he might start that one. Let's move on then, Dylan, and last but definitely not least, our gaffer, Daniel Farke. What did you make of him and how he handled the whole day?
Well, you got the starting lineup right. Obviously, mine was Sam Byram and Darlow in there, as opposed to Bogle and Perry that you did say, which was 10 out of 10. I thought you got the lineup 10 out of 10. Considering I was worried about Bogle, that's why I thought Byram was going to start. Other than that, his man management throughout the game definitely worked. He definitely has the players behind him. He has the board behind him. The subs were a little bit of a letdown, obviously with Willie Nanto coming off. But other than that, at the same time, the subs made an impact in the game.
Didn't he? Yeah,
exactly. So I can't be too harsh on him. So for me and you, we went with a 7.
A 7 for Daniel Farke. So the OLB audience went with an 8, Dylan, for Daniel Farke. So he wins over the fans on this occasion. So yeah, brilliant, Dylan. Great first day out. Nice to get the win on the board. Arsenal now up next week where we do it all again. Keep an eye out for our match preview ahead of Arsenal. We will be back for the watch along as well on Saturday. And of course, your player rating. So if you do want to get involved in this again, keep an eye across our social media where we put this out. We'll also put it into our WhatsApp channel as well. You'll find the link in the description below if you do want to join that. Always a good little bit of fun. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you had, guys, please drop a like on it, and of course hit subscribe to the channel. We'd absolutely love you to do that. We're chasing down 3,600 subscribers here on OnlyLeedsBros. So that's it from us. Mind yourselves, mind each other. We'll catch you in the next one.